Shalom. This week's Sedra Tetzaveh. What's the difference between prophecy and superstition? Why does the Torah allow Jews to try to understand the future in some ways, but forbid trying to see what will happen in other ways? In this week's Torah portion, we study the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and the Kohen's role in the Mishkan. And part of the Torah portion discusses the Kohen Gadol's clothes, including the urim and tummim, a garment used to help the Kohen Gadol tell the future. We read in this week's Torah portion, Aaron shall carry the names of the sons of Israel on the breastpiece of decision over his heart, when he enters the sanctuary for remembrance before God at all times. Inside the breastpiece of decision, you shall place the urim and tummim, so that they are over Aaron's heart when he comes before God. Aaron shall carry the instrument of decision for the Israelites over his heart before God at all times. In his commentary to these verses, Rashi explained the urim and tummim in the following way. He says, this was an inscription of the proper name of God, which was placed between the folds, meaning between the two pieces forming the front and back of the breastplate, through which the breastplate made its statements clear by illuminating its words and its promises true. The king, Kohen Gadol, and the Sanhedrin had an obligation to ask God for permission through the Urim Tummim before going to war, expanding the borders of Jerusalem, and splitting the land of Israel between the 12 tribes. Maimonides asked, now how was the inquiry of the Urim and Tummim made? So the Kohen Gadol would stand facing the ark in the Beit HaMikdash. The person making the inquiry, usually the king, was behind him facing the Kohen Gadol's back. The inquirer would ask, should I go to war or not? He would not ask in a loud voice, nor would he merely think about the matter in his head. Instead, he would speak in a low voice, like someone praying to himself. Immediately, the ruach hakodesh, a communication from God slightly less than prophecy, would gather around the Kohen Gadol. He would look at the breastplate, and with the spirit of prophecy, see one of two answers. Either go to war or don't go up, written in letters emerging from the breastplate toward his face. The Kohen Gadol would then answer the person asking, telling him, go to war or don't go to war. God forbade many forms of inquiries that people made to figure out the best path forward. These forbidden inquiries included asking the dead, or putting bones in someone's mouth and asking for a sign for the future, or asking a sorcerer. Maimonides wrote, all the above matters are falsehood and lies with which the original idolaters deceived the Gentile nations in order to lead them after them. It's not fitting for the Jews, who are wise sages, to be drawn in such emptiness, nor to consider that they have any value. Whoever believes in the superstition of this nature and in his heart, and thinks that they are true and words of wisdom, just forbidden from the Torah, is foolish and feeble-minded. He's considered like those who have undeveloped intellects. The masters of wisdom and those of perfect knowledge know with clear proof that these crafts which the Torah forbade are not reflections of wisdom, but rather emptiness and vanity, which attracted the feeble-minded and caused them to abandon the paths of truth. For these reasons, when the Torah warned against these empty matters, the Rambam wrote, it's advised to be of perfect faith with God your Lord. The difference between the Torah's methods of understanding the future through prophecy, ruach hakodesh, and using the urim and tummim, and the prohibitions of superstitious practices is whether or not there's divine assistance in those practices. This lesson in this Torah isn't about the urim and tummim, but rather about the uselessness of superstitious practices. Without divine assistance, superstitious practices are just plain foolish because they don't work, they're not from God, and there's no way that they're going to help anybody. Shabbat Shalom.